Welcome. My name is Tracy Cook, and this is a podcast series, Victim to Victory. This series gives a voice to those that have overcome obstacles in all forms, that dare greatly to share their real stories. Amazing humans like our upcoming guest that have seen hope and risen above those adversities to become victorious, that are now the visionaries of tomorrow. And they go on to support, empower and inspire others to do the same. So please subscribe, share, comment, and also check out our show notes for our Launch Brand and Market podcast course. Our guest tonight is an absolutely amazing, inspiring, intuitive guest, Deborah Marie Isis. Welcome to Victim to Victory.
Hello, Tracy. Lovely to be here. So honoured to be here. I'm just loving the vibe already. We've just connected and just sharing what you've been sharing with me about the community. It's amazing. Sounds amazing.
Oh, thank you so much. We're so grateful to have you. Now, I want to let everyone know how amazing you are, because you are a go-to intuitive empowerment coach. Great job title, by the way, for soul-led, ambitious business people and entrepreneurs who are really ready to free their mind and work in a different way. And we're all looking for a bit of that. And clients hire you you're quite sought after to help them understand who they really are, awaken their true potential way more than they believed was possible. Don't we need more of that in the world? Now, not only that, we have a superwoman here because Deborah is recognized as an intuitive master working with the quantum field of genius. And I need that on a t-shirt, by the way. I love that. And as a pioneering thought leader, another t-shirt, trailblazer, change maker, and she was intuitively gifted to create awakening horizons where she successfully leads others to grow to great heights, achieve their true potential, and be at the top of their game. I'm looking so forward to this, Deborah, of hearing more of your story, how you started on this journey, what you went through, and who the essence is of Deborah. Where does your story start?
Wow. There's so many places I could start, but actually what I realized, it literally started in the womb. Started in the womb. And I think what I'm going to cover as I talk is just something called the hero's journey. So I don't know, some people might be aware of it, some people might not. It was a term coined by Joseph Campbell, who was a philosopher and researcher, and he went all around the world and studied every modality around the world to find out what was the common thread between everybody in the world, whatever religion, spirituality, nationality. And he came up with this term, the hero's journey, that we're all on in life. We all come here, we're born, we go on our hero's journey, and we go on lots of mini hero's journeys all the way through our life as well. You know, sort of nursery time could have been a hero's journey, your primary school, your high school. Each year is a hero's journey. My daughter's just finished school, off to college for 2 years, so that will be her next hero's journey. So what happens is, you know, we're born, and we're born of sovereignty. We come, well, you know, I believe through my own learnings over the last 25 years, you know, we come from the ether, you know, we come from everything. We're one with everything. Everything's connected. But we're born into this like little tiny cell, and we're already limited, and we believe that we're not this amazing, powerful person who we really are. And something happens between the age of really conception and 7 years old. Give me the child 0 to 7, and I'll give you the man or the woman. And so my story really started when I was pregnant. My mum was pregnant with me, and my dad kicked my mum in the stomach while she was pregnant with me. I was in the womb. I was floating around, all lovely, and I've been back to this sort of actual place a few times through different types of work that I've done. I'm a journey practitioner as well, and I've been back through that sort of work. But in that moment, that sort of concretized like my limiting beliefs, like, oh my God, he doesn't love me. My dad doesn't love me. I'm not worthy to be here. I don't deserve a place in the world. I'm just not good enough. And then sort of carried on my life from there. And sort of had I was very sporty, very competitive. I was captain of everything, and that all comes from now looking back, me wanting to prove I was good enough all the time. But it was great. I really enjoyed it, but it's always about proving I was good enough. Always trying to win my dad's attention. He wasn't there a lot either when I was younger, so there's like, I know, abandonment stuff going on. So in my teens, I ended up with sort of anorexia, bulimia, self-image stuff, but managed to get myself through that. I actually went to the doctors and they just told me to get over myself at the time. It's like, don't be silly, just get over yourself. So, and my sister was there for me, and she was an amazing support. So I got through that. Went off to college, found a career in the corporate world. Worked my way up in that career until at the time there was no women in management. It's quite a long time ago, but I'm not staying here. I can't. I'm moving. I'm not being limited in that way. Decided to do something completely different. Ended up being a paramedic. Did some on-the-job training. So my life has been an adventure and a hero's journey. And then I suppose the next pivotal point was I met somebody and got married to my husband. And then that relationship broke down. There was sort of lies involved there that hadn't been told, and there was these lies were exposed. So that sent me into quite a depression. Actually, I'd never experienced depression in my life before, and it sent me into a depression. And it's like, there must be more to life than this. What am I doing wrong? Some things, even though like one half of my life's running okay, I had this brilliant job as a paramedic that I loved and I enjoyed, and and I had friends, but there was just this, this other side. And so again, I came back. I feel like these are like my little victim moments, when I was a teenager and I felt like a victim, and then I get divorced and I feel like a victim again, but I bring myself back around. So at that time, as well as being a paramedic, I also started my searching journey, who am I really? What's this all about? Why am I here? And trained in all sorts of modalities, sort of Reiki and a Reiki master, and then NLP, and then I also did the journey work, and I did lots of angel work, and which was all great. It's all really, really helpful and helped me get back into being the victor again in my life rather than the victim. And then I had another relationship, got married again. That ended up with like lies and deceit, and that one ended again back into victim mode. Like, oh my God, what am I doing wrong? What's going on here? And then moved on to like my third relationship, and all the time I've moved from being a paramedic. I worked for social services. I was a social worker, and then when I was with my second husband, I trained as a teacher and tutor and lecturer at college. And so all that was going on in one part of my life. To the outside world, it just looked like, wow, Deborah's got everything. She's amazingly successful. You've got everything materially. And just, in this relationship with my husband, there was just something missing, and I couldn't quite put my finger on it. And it was, just this thing where the truth wasn't being revealed to me. Again, that broke down back into victim. Got myself back around again. I was also a qualified counsellor and therapist. So, I was doing that work, which I loved. And then I went to work in schools with young people. So, all these jobs, it's like, I love those type of jobs. I love working with people and helping them and helping them overcome their challenges, which sort of, helps me overcome mine. And then move on to a new relationship a couple of years later, where I had my daughter, which was amazing. Late in my life, 39, I didn't think I would have children, have a beautiful daughter. But that also put me into depression. I ended up with postnatal depression. So, probably 2 years postnatal depression. And then I had a suspected brain hemorrhage at that time, just before my daughter was 2. I was trying to do everything. I was still trying to work. I was teaching. I was at Marking till 2 in the morning. Wasn't getting very much help from my father. I was basically exhausted, and I had this suspected brain hemorrhage. Rushed into hospital. 5 days flat in like sort of the intensive care sort of department, flat to my back. And then at Christmas, like, it actually let me out Christmas morning, and I sat up to leave hospital, and I projectile vomited all over the nurse, who was lovely. She was just so lovely. But what they were saying was, we can't find anything. So you have to leave this ward and you have to go home, but we know there's something wrong, but we don't know what it is. So that was a very challenging time. And I was sort of not very well for about 12 months after that. I was just felt like felt really like permanently drunk. I just felt dizzy, like I lost my balance. I felt queasy all the time. And it turned out to be an infection in my brain lining, that I only found out through a locum doctor. I've been going to my doctor constantly saying I don't feel well, and he just brushing me off, going, "Oh, okay then, bye." And this locum doctor came, whose brother had a brain hemorrhage, and he researched everything about it. So he just sat there and told me exactly what it was. And oh my God, such a relief, such a
It's
huge
so
relief.
funny that you can go to the same doctor you just brushed off. And
Yeah.
thank you very much for taking us through that journey with you as well. Because did you ever feel as though these patterns just they kept repeating, and there was something there for you to discover or to
Yeah.
know, or a lesson to be learnt, or another obstacle to overcome to get to something better?
Yeah.
And then you're
Yeah. Yeah.
going to this doctor all the time, and you finally get this kind of diagnosis, prognosis. That must have just been life changing for you.
Oh, it was. It really, really was. And he offered me medication, and I don't really do medication. If I can find an alternative, I will. But I didn't even need it, because I said, now I know what it is. I can handle it. He said it sort of it damaged one of my inner ears, so it took time for the other inner ear to work for both of them. So it was just a time thing. But once I knew that, yeah, it was like, gosh, somebody just knew. Somebody just sat there and told me exactly what it was. It was such a relief.
Well, we just
Absolutely.
want that answer sometimes, don't we? It's just, I know
Yeah.
something's wrong. I
Yeah.
just want to be able to deal with it. I just want to be able to do my own research, seek out some alternative therapies if that's what we're wishing, and just get on with it, knowing what's wrong with us.
Yeah.
And I just know that so many people can relate to that, because we know our own body more
Yeah.
than anybody. So does that where your intuition kind of draws in and things like that? Were you always kind of in tune with your body and your mind, and not quite knowing where to kind of pivot or shift next? Were you always kind of really intuitive?
Mm. I probably was on some level, because I think we all are on some level. We are, but I think we tend to ignore it. Really, we don't really trust it. We don't believe in it, and we sort of ignore it. So it was just not long after that I'd sort of done all these trainings. I was like, right, I'm going to get myself back up, and back into life again, and done all these trainings. I'm just not doing any more trainings. I've had enough. I've spent enough money. I spent thousands of pounds. Even though I'm relieved about this diagnosis, I'm a bit lost. I don't know what I'm doing next. And then this opportunity came to come and watch a speaker in Manchester, where I live. I live sort of close to Manchester in England. And it was like, oh, really? It's about intuition, talking about intuition. And it really triggered something in me. And I was like, no, I'm not doing any more trainings. Absolutely not. Anyway, as you do, I went along. It absolutely spoke to my heart, resonated with my heart. And before I knew it, I'd signed up to do this training in London. And at the time, the guy that was running the training, so this is about 11 years ago now, he did an intuitive read with me, and he like tunes into my greatness and sees who I really am. And he did, and I paid for an intuitive read, and then if I was going on to do the training, I'd get the money back. So I thought, well, it's win-win. I can't really lose. I haven't quite decided I was doing the training. So tuned in, and he actually saw me. You get visions when you work this way with intuition. They come in visions, like a picture speaks 1,000 words. And his vision of me was the Statue of Liberty. Oh, and I had it next to me a minute ago and I've just moved it. Never mind. But yeah, and he just saw me as this powerful woman, with like standing with the light, standing for the light, the truth, leading others, being a beacon of light. And I certainly didn't feel like that at the time. I talk about Harry Potter. I was in a little house at the time after sort of recovering from this illness, with my desk under the stairs, and I just felt like Harry Potter. I'm a muggle. Who am I? Who's he talking about? Who's this blooming woman that is talking about? But I knew somewhere deep inside, it really was me. So that prompted me to go and actually train in intuition. I did like 3 years back to back, practically trainings in something called the Transformation at the time. That's not running anymore, but and I absolutely loved it. It changed my life. It absolutely transformed my life. It put me completely in my power. I just felt empowered, and whereas I'd done lots of other things in the past, even so the law of attraction and things like that didn't work for me. They might work for other people, but this was really getting results in my life. You create something, what I've called now, you call your land of dreams, and you intuitively create a vision. It comes through a shamanic journeying, and you have a vision what for each year, each 12 months, of like, what would I love in my next 12 months? And you have this vision, and it's called your land of dreams, and you create 13 choices around it, and then you tune into these choices. It's like an intuitive goal setting, but it comes from your heart and your higher self and your intuition. And that, through doing that for myself and changing my own life, that's when I was intuitively guided to start awakening horizons and put it, out to on a global scale. Like, I have online trainings, and I have a community, a Mighty Networks community. And just about to start a Facebook community as well, to make it more accessible for people, it's called Waking Your True Potential: How to Be the Hero in Your Own Life Story. So that's all really, really
it is
exciting,
such a hero's journey. And to know that you've had those lived experiences and all of those professions and all of those learnings and the relationships, and then the health, and then the intuition, and then letting your body and your mind and your spirit kind of guide you to where you need to be. And now, kind of investing and now teaching other people to really get in tune with themselves, because we all know the last couple of years has been pretty crazy, right?
Yeah.
And we've reevaluated and changed our perspective, and our priorities have changed. So just to come back to ourselves is just so important at the moment. So the work you're doing is literally life-changing. Like you said, it literally changes and saves lives perhaps as well. And just to have that vision of a new world and be your own authentic self, it's just serving at just such a high level. And when we're in tune with ourselves and we're grateful, and we actually become better people, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because we you can like listen to your heart, listen to your true self, what's going on, and also you're in tune with others, as well, because you understand, you sort of work and train this way about our own limiting beliefs, but then we understand other people's limiting beliefs as well, and it can be more empathic with people, and it's all just, it's completely focused on going for what you love. Whereas our identity, that where I started, like, the first bit of our hero's journey, is always just going to compensate for what we believe we were not and we haven't got. If you've got a not good enough belief, you're going to prove you're good enough. If you feel unworthy, you're always proving you're worthy. If you're feeling powerless, you're trying to prove you're powerless. Whereas this recognizes that it's always there. That is always there in us. But you just acknowledge that and then go, okay, that's where I'm at. But actually, what would I love? And then shift your focus and just start going for what you love.
Oh, I totally agree. We really fight sometimes for those limitations, don't we?
We absolutely do. We absolutely do. Goodness me.
Oh, I absolutely love that, Deborah. Your journey has just been absolutely amazing. What kind of message would you like to leave the audience on today?
Yeah, I think it's sort of just like knowing how powerful you are. You've got to keep remembering how powerful you are, and our identities will tell us we're not. There are two aspects to us. We have our identity self, and then I have what I call our genius self. Our higher self is who we really, really are, and our identity will just try and keep us limited and small and safe. But we have this other side to us that is who we really, really are. I call it I amness, but is who we really, really are. And just in those times when we're feeling small or limited or scared or frightened, just to acknowledge that's okay, because we're all we on human on a level, and just know that really just remember how powerful you are, and just go into your heart and follow what you love. But what this is happening over here, but what would I really love? And your intuition will tell you. It will guide you. It will if we just stop and listen, and sort of tune into our heart space. Your intuition will guide us and tell us everything we need to know. So just
That is
remember
great.
how powerful you really are.
Listen to the power within and let it guide you. Thank you so much,
Absolutely.
Deborah. And thank you for being brave to share your story and take us on that journey with you as well, of where you were, how you overcame, and how you're helping others within the world. You're so appreciated within the Victim to Victory community. And we'll be sharing where to connect with Deborah. If you're looking for some guidance, if you're looking for somebody to teach you about being your higher self, please connect with Deborah, and she'll be happy to mentor and guide you. And you can find the Victim to Victory podcast on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. If you got value from today, and I know you did, please leave a supportive comment for Deborah. Go and follow her on her socials that we are actually providing for you as well. And check out the Launch Brand and Market podcast course, because I want to leave you with a message of wear your story like a superhero cape and not an anchor. Thanks for joining us, Deborah.
Thank you. Thanks, Tracy. Thank
See you
you.
on the next episode.